It was on this day, May 26th, last year, 2023, when my mom transitioned. At night. And the interesting thing about my mom's transition was it was peaceful, and she didn't transition until she heard my voice over the phone. She was laid to rest in Florida. That's where I'm from. And I didn't go down there to her funeral. I just have a different take on funerals. I don't want to take on that energy. 2023 was a very transformative year for me, considering I lost my mother. I actually became a licensed psychologist the same year. I passed my licensure exam, which was very stressful, by the way. That was a whole feat in and of itself. And I think my mom always knew, because she would tell me, she would say, when I die, I know you won't even come to my funeral. So I feel like she kind of prophesied this over her own passing. When she transitioned, like, I felt her spirit like inhabit my body. I was lying in bed in my room, and it was like this very mystical, undescribable experience that I had. And I just knew it was my mom. You know, like you just know that you know that you know. It was one of those things. Like I just knew it was her. And ever since, like I've had a state of peace like come over me. I felt like it was, my mom's protection, the protection of the ancestral spirits to just keep me comforted through this very difficult time. I live in New York City, and most of my family, they live in Florida, so I'm okay with it though. I kind of like it like that. Yeah, a lot of things changed last year. That's a very transformative year for me. And yeah, I see death differently than most people. What most people consider death, I just look at it as a new beginning, a transition. And I know that our spirits never die, like our soul lives forever. And obviously, I have not only inhabited her soul, her spirit, but also I'm made up of her, right? Of my mom and my dad, right? 23 chromosomes of my mom, 23 chromosomes of my father. So when I look at myself in the mirror, I see my mom, right? Like when I listen to myself talk, and sometimes like I speak to myself, right? In the quiet of my own place, and I'm like, damn, I sound just like my fucking mom, yo. I sound just like her. When I looked in the mirror, looked at myself in the mirror after I had this kind of existential spiritual experience where I inhabited her spirit, I'm like, I saw that my face, it looked more like her face. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I look just like her and even more like her after she passed away. So I actually was gonna go down to Florida though. But then something told me no. Like at the very last minute, right? Because I had already decided to go. And then like at the very last minute, something said no. Just be still, don't go. And I didn't, but I'm thankful and grateful that my sister and my family, they sent me pictures. So I have pictures of my mom, like lying in her casket, pictures of her before her, like moments before she passed away, when she was in her hospice bed. Um, I felt very much connected to my family, like during that time, even though I wasn't there physically, right? I was communicating with them over the phone. And again, like just being a spiritual person, most people don't get it, but it's like time, space, and physical space, like it just really doesn't exist. So these parameters of distance and the miles, like it's not in my mind. It's not registering in my mind, especially at that time anyway. It's like my mom is here with me. I don't have to go and travel to Florida. Like she's in me. I am her. Right? So, and I still feel the same way. Again, I just didn't find it beneficial to take on that energy because my family perceives death much different. As do most people. And they cry and they mourn. And of course, I did cry. Not the day of her passing, it wasn't the same day. But I did, oh my gosh, because like the day of her passing, I was not even in Manhattan. I went to go stay with a friend. And yeah, I didn't shed a tear. But when I came back to my place in Manhattan, yeah, I tapped in and I was just bawling and bawling and bawling and just like, like a child, like a little child just yearns for their mother and they're crying and crying. Just imagine like hearing like a little kid cry, right? Let's say the first time they're dropped off at daycare and they're just screaming at the top of their lungs, and that's what happened. Like that was me. And I couldn't help it. I could not control it. I was just screaming. I know my neighbors were like, oh my gosh. Um, yeah, I was like crying from the depths of my soul, yo. It was just coming from like all the way from my stomach, all the way up, all the way out. And it was a good cry though, because after that, I felt so light and relieved and just at more peace than I was before. It was a really good release. So, and I told my mom, like before she took her last breath, I was like, I gave her my last final words, and in my final words, I was saying to her, I promise that I will pick up the torch and just live up to the name, live up to what my mom would expect me to do. Not everything, though. She gave me some words of advice that I just do not adhere to. And that's just me. That's just related to my personality and who I'm always going to be. But she told me, she was like, this is what she told me. This was a couple of years ago. I called her to consult to see if I should accept the position working for the state. And she was like, yes, of course. And she tells me, just do what they say, Danielle. Whatever they tell you to do, just. She know I'm the complete opposite. I feel like that was terrible advice. But I did take the position though. And I'm grateful. It's decent pay, but nah. But I told her, I'm not gonna disappoint her. When she was like, on her transition bed, I told her I was gonna make sure I carry the torch. She go without saying, because she know that's just me anyway. You know. My mom was always proud of me. Like, even through high school, even though, like, I did, like, leave my mom's place. Because basically from birth to 12 years, I was raised by both my mom and my dad under the same roof. And then my mom separated from my father at 12 when I was 12 years old. And I went to go live with her for 4 years. Then I ran away and moved to live with my dad, where he raised me for the final 2 years until I became 18 years old, became an adult. And then I just remember, like, my mom just showing me off, like, to all of her friends. She would, like, take me to her job, show me around her, to her, like, coworkers, like, oh, this is my baby. She's in college. So mom was always proud of me. Always. And my mom has 2 children. Me and my sister, we have different dads, but my father raised my sister. And we have a 3-year difference. And my sister, like, always was jealous of me. I know she won't. She would never say it. But and I feel like it was due in part to my mom, because my mom would compare me and my sister, right? And I was like the model child. Funny enough. But the irony to that is that it was my sister who took care of my mom, right? When she couldn't fully take care of herself towards the latter years of her life on this earth plane. It was my sister. I was the one far, far away, right? Just living my best fucking life. And I think it stung my sister, though. I know it did. Like, from as far back as I can remember, when I was a little girl, she used to, like, say to my sister, oh, look at Danielle, right? And just using me as an example. Like, you should be like her, right? And mind you, my sister's 3 years older than me. I felt like it was kind of fucked up. I don't think parents should do that to their kids, because it just instills jealousy and envy. And envy unchecked turns into hatred, And I think, set aside the role of my mom doing that, like, siblings naturally already have this, rivalry against each other, right? So you don't need a parental figure inserting themselves and creating more dissension between the 2 siblings, But yeah. I love my mom, though. And I speak of her as if she is still alive, because my mom is such a strong, powerful force, as most Black women are, like, just so strong. And to imagine, to see her in a casket, it's just like, that would be, to me, unbelievable. I couldn't even look at the pictures. Like, my sister sent me the pictures, and when she sent it to me, I was, like, grateful, because I didn't expect her to send me those pictures of my mom in her casket. But when I received them on my phone, I was just like, I smiled. But then, like, after that, I couldn't really look at those pictures. It's like, hell no, I couldn't look at that shit. It's so painful. I still have the pictures, though, but it's just so painful, and it's hard to even just believe that, My mom always been so strong, like the backbone of the family, just fierce. I have her energy, y'all. When you see my spirit, I get that shit from my fucking mom. Like, just fearless, and fierce, and just boisterous, speaks her mind, you know? So, it's my mom. Yeah, I don't speak of her as if she's dead. I speak of her as if she's very much still alive and living through me. I dream every time I go to sleep. So I also recall, like, right after her transition, and it's crazy, y'all. Like, this is how the spirit realm works because my mom know how difficult it is. I don't know how it impacted my sister. I think it impacted me more than it did my sister, like her leaving. And so she would show up. My mom would appear like in my dreams, like for several weeks after she transitioned. I would see her like in different places that I normally go, right? Like the train station. I would see her at like she appeared like at the bottom of the steps, and she was just standing there with her arms out, and she just embraced me and gave me a hug. I had a dream about my father, like he showed up in my dream like numerous times. And this is like I said, like right around the time my mom transitioned, and this was just like to comfort me. He gave me a huge ass hug, yo. And other times I see my mom like in my dreams, she's just speaking words of affirmation, just letting me know like it's gonna be okay. And I took that as like, damn, she's not really dead, you know? She's appearing in my dreams and I feel her. I even feel her right now. Like I feel like this energy over me right now. You know? It's crazy. It's powerful. One of the times I saw my mom after she transitioned, she was dressed up so beautifully, right? We were at like this function, like me, her, I think my sister, my family, and I looked at her and I was like, "You look nice. You look beautiful." Her hair was fixed up nice, and she was wearing like some dress. She kind of looked at me, and like me and my mom always have like this kind of funny relationship about each other because I'm just real. My mom is real, and like I get it honest from her, right? So she speak her mind, I speak my mind. She don't let nobody fuck over her, and I'm the same way. And being her daughter, like it's kind of awkward because my mom grew up in a time where it's like whatever the mom said, whatever I say goes, kind of thing, right? You do as I say, and she was rebellious as a child, right? So that's the irony to it. She was rebellious, I was rebellious, but she still expect me to do as she say, right? So we always bump heads, especially when I came to an awareness and understanding of like, yo, I have fucking rights. I can set boundaries. And this was when I was a teenager, and that's what led to obviously me leaving her and moving in with my dad. But I feel like I was able to get closure before she passed away. And that's how she was able to pass away. Like she took her last breath after she heard me say this um, to her, where I said, I made a joke because I made a joke about, it was like an inside joke about something that she had got on me about, and I like was fucking disgusted at her for what she did. She was just being a fucking parent, but I was so like annoyed. Cause I'm like, damn, let me just be me. Like, let me do what the fuck I want to do. And she was just trying to punish me. And so I made a joke like on her deathbed about that. I ain't gonna go into detail, but she came after me with a broom, yo. And I'm I'm like, yo, how old I was? I know I was at least 16 years old. And she came, and I wasn't even living with her at the time. I was living with my father, but I had left to go hang out with a friend. I was skipping school and shit. And I left the city, right? Went to a whole another city. Like I was wilding the fuck out, basically. And she got her and my dad. They came together, right? And they and it's funny because they were separated, but for them to come together to come get my motherfucking ass, I'm like, oh no, we're going to get her ass. But word got back to her that I was skipping school, and I went to a whole new city, and I was just hanging out with a friend out there. So she came, and when she found me, she like picked up the broom and was trying to hit me. I was like, you're not hitting me with that fucking broom, yo. I'll fight back. I'm fighting back. Listen, mom or no mom, I'm fighting your ass back. Like, that was just me when I reached the age where I'm like, nah, you're not gonna be putting your hands on me. But yeah, I had made a joke about that when she was on her deathbed. I was just like, yeah, I remember that time you came after me with that broom. And then she took her last breath, and I hung up the phone. But I didn't know she took her last breath, right? I said a lot of words to her, and then, I hung up the phone. And then my sister, her husband, called me back right away. And it was like she just took her last breath. He let me know that. And he was like, my sister's husband was like, yeah, mom, your mom just wanted to hear your voice. That's it. Apparently, because I didn't come down there. I didn't go down to Florida. They kept calling me, you coming down? You coming down? They was going to book the flight and all of that. I'm like, The thing about me, shit got to be right. Everything got to be lined up in order. If it's not, I'm not moving. I'm not going with it. So that's how that shit went. It was like, yeah, they was going to book the flight, which I couldn't pay for my own flight, but, I'm like, damn, this is my loss of my mother. Like, I feel like y'all should be accommodating me in every aspect, right? Not just a flight, but transportation from the airport, you know, room and board, everything. And they seem to have their priorities on something else. So I was just like, well, fuck it, I'm not coming. Let the dead bury the dead. I'm not coming. That's just me. I don't know what you call it, but I'm like, nah. Because you're not gonna fuck up my mood, and you're not gonna fuck up my peace with their shenanigans. I'm like, nah. I have control over who I allow in my aura. That's one thing about me, and I'm very particular about that. And that's just how that went. So it is what it is. I could care less. My cousin was like, "Oh, well, your sister gonna be mad. It's not about her." I kept saying, it's not about her." The fuck? Yeah. But people will eventually come to learn and understand a person. Clearly they don't know me that well. Even though in my family, they should know me by now. Things don't go that way. It don't work that way. So yeah, I think about my mom from time to time. I think about her from time to time. She's just, I felt like when a person passes, you just think about like the good memories and how sweet they were. Even though she was a mean motherfucking bitch. She was a mean bitch, but I reflect more on like the sweet, kind-hearted person that she was, you know. And she fought, man. She fought the hard fight. Like, the strongest person I know, you know. She went through a lot of shit in her day. She went through a lot of shit. So yeah, she passed away. She was 70 years old. My dad is still with me. He's 82. He'll be 83 in August. But yeah, my mom was 70 years old when she passed away. Yeah. So on that note, I am going to wrap this video up. Everybody is like hanging out. I'm at this park over here in Manhattan. A lot of people are out because tomorrow is Memorial Day. So people are already barbecuing, parties, music, turn up, turn up. I was out shopping. I went to downtown Brooklyn earlier. They have the Dance Africa Festival with the African vendors set up outside of BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music. So it's really nice out there. I was really good vibes. I was out there yesterday, but I didn't do any shopping, so I had to come back today to get some things. Which I want to go live tomorrow to do a shopping haul to unveil the things I got. There's so many immigrants over here. It makes me wonder, like, I know a couple of years ago, NYC population was like 8 million. It got to be over that now. It got to be like 9, if not 10 million. All these young immigrants that came, it's a lot. And they still out here. Yeah, still out here. It's like they have their own little colony over here where I'm at. All right. I gotta get some more sage. That's what I should have brought here.